Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today, including J.P. Barry standing by, are brought to you by the Waddling Dog Pub, one of Victoria's favorite local pubs, located 10 minutes from the ferry. The two-time number one pub in Victoria invites you to see why they are a go-to watering hole. The Waddling Dog is the best place for all of your Canucks and NHL action with extended hours, any sport, really, with extended hours so you don't have to miss any of the action. Come sit and stay at the Waddling Dog. We're joined now by J.P. Barry of CAA Sports, agent for 3 Canucks, Tyler Myers, Elias Pettersson, and Quinn Hughes, along with Jet Wu down in Abbotsford.
One more. Curtis Lazar.
There you go. Sorry. J.P. Barry joining us. How are you, sir?
Good morning.
Hey, J.P., recently there were rumors that Tyler Myers was headed to Ottawa. What was your reaction to that?
I was aware that Ottawa was looking for a defenseman, so I kind of expected his name would pop up. But no, I mean it's part of the business, and he's a kind of player that's in demand, and it seems like since the day we signed, you guys, the Canucks have been trying to trade him in the rumor mill. So I think the coaches and management are not feeling the same way.
What goes through your mind when you hear people criticize Tyler Myers?
I think it's hard. It's unique. I mean, he's a different kind of player. I mean, you play the game at that size and his ability to skate, and it just seems like when Tyler does well, it's expected, and I guess when he makes a mistake, it gets magnified. But I think we in the business kind of step back and look at the bigger game, like the whole impact. And Tyler's, he's just the reason why teams are calling. He's a player that can help teams, and I think there's little things he does that maybe the greater fan base doesn't see in his play.
Yeah, coaches seem to like him. One more season left at $6 million. And I guess we could ask this question of all your clients in Vancouver, but is Tyler happy here?
Yeah, he's happy. No, he does. He really doesn't. He really has no interest in going anywhere at all. He's very happy. He loves being there. So no, that's why it's always difficult to have your name pop up in the press when you're happy to be here. And quite frankly, he'd like to stay here. I'm not sure that's that's part of the business we'd see, but he doesn't really want to go anywhere. And that would probably take another negotiation, but that's we'll see what happens.
JP, I know you love the media. One last one on Myers. Did he reject a trade to Ottawa?
He did not reject a trade to Ottawa.
Thank you for that, sir. Let's go on over to a guy who's having a fabulous season, JP, Elias Pettersson. Just talk about what you've seen from him. Are you happy with his play?
Yeah, I think it's really like every week now I'm seeing he just seems to be maturing bigger and stronger and just playing a more impactful game. So I think that's part of what we're seeing is just some consistency and some winning more physical battles, and I love the direction it's headed.
Well, the direction tells us this summer you can sign a contract extension for Pettersson. JP, do you hope to get to it right away in the summer, or is there going to be a waiting out process?
Yeah, I mean, it's always up to the team to want to get at it earlier. So, we're open. I mean, we do expect the team will want to discuss it. I mean, the salary cap is always at the forefront for teams, and it's, I think they probably want to get a read on how much it goes up for next year and then the year after. I mean, that's what teams are waiting for. They have so much planning to do. So I'm sure by June they'll have an idea what it looks like going forward a little bit.
JP, right now, can you say that Pettersson long-term is the preference to sign in Vancouver, JP?
Yes. I mean, I know he doesn't want to go anywhere. There's never been any discussion of anywhere else. So he's happy where he is, and we'll find out what the financial part of the negotiation is, I guess, when the team is ready. But no, I'm fully expect that we're going to be sitting down with Vancouver to talk about his future.
You did something in 2005. You went to London, England with Dave Nonis and Mark Crawford to talk about the Sedin twins and their future. I don't think, JP, you were happy with the roles, and you sat management down overseas, and you had a what about here? The one thing young players, JP, hate to do early in their careers is lose. Pettersson hasn't won a lot. Are you going to at some point sit down with management and try to get a plan mapped out on how they're going to turn this franchise around, JP?
I mean, these are always little discussions that you have when you're talking about an impact player. I mean, it's not up to us to tell a team how to build itself, but when we're talking about an impact franchise, top of the market player, you're going to have those discussions at that time about what the plans are going forward. Because, I mean, the players want to know, like a player that's going to commit, 6, 7, 8 years has a market value is going to want to know those plans. So I'm sure that'll happen at that time.
JP, if you have that meeting with Canucks management, can you let us know what their plans is? Is that possible? Okay. Hey, JP, with that in mind, what's the general opinion of the job relatively new Canucks management is doing right now, the direction they're headed?
I think they're in between right now. I think they're trying to make changes on the fly. It's not a rebuild, and I think we all know that. It's like they've got all these elements, and they're trying to figure out which ones are going to be there long term and which ones aren't. So I think they're in that in between stage. I mean, they still look like the kind of team that could put a few pieces together and do a lot of damage to me. So it's I think part of the head scratcher is that the lows get very low there. I'm not sure why, but they seem to, when things go in out of sync, they really drop. So they got to figure out why that happens.
Okay, you're supposed to break some news here. We know all about that in-between stage in Vancouver. Hey, JP, you mentioned the salary cap, and it was kind of interesting over the last week and a half or so. We heard that maybe the salary cap is going to rise by $4.5 million, and then last week or earlier this week, Board of Governors meeting, we hear about the figure just $1 million. Where do you think the cap is at right now?
Yeah, it's really difficult for us because, I mean, obviously it impacts every negotiation we do. I think for now they're going to say it's $1 million and try to sign up as many players as they can, and then it's going to be $4 in June. But it affects us. But I mean, I think they're trying to be conservative. I think the range was always that we had heard was 1 to 3 this year, and then maybe 2 to 4 the year after. That's what I had sort of taken from the past. So I think all of us were hoping it could be as much as $3 million this year, but I think they're being conservative. And generally when this happens, it's somewhere in the middle. So I'm kind of writing down 1.5 to 2 million.
Yeah, and also interesting is Forbes releases its list of franchise values, and they've gone up considerably. Look at the Kraken, well over $1 billion at this point. What do you think is best for the league? Because there's not many trades, JP, and I think that's great for the league, that discussion amongst fans and that interest. What do you think's best for the league? The status quo, maybe to rise by $1 million, or to have more of a significant rise in the salary cap?
Yeah, I think we've had obviously you're talking to a player agent.
Yeah, okay, I realize that.
We need some flexibility. I mean, the cap's been very flat for quite a while. So, I mean, if it doesn't move up a little more, you're going to see a whole bunch of movement again this summer. And, I mean, we don't like it when players have to go every which way, especially, players want to have at least the option to try and stay, within a proper financial framework. But if the cap's not going to go up, there's really hard decisions. I mean, you guys are going through that right now with all the talk around your captain, and it's all about, and really it all goes back to the salary cap.
Yeah. Another client of yours is Matt Barzal, and he's going to start making $9.125 million a season next season. Is that a comparable for Elias Pettersson?
Yeah, they've always been comps to each other since day one. They were a comp last time. So, I mean, there's differences in their game, but if you're going to write down 6 to 8 players as comps and age and experience and production, then they're going to be with each other.
All right, JP, thank you for your time. Always a pleasure.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, JP, and have a happy new year.
Thank you, guys. We'll talk soon.
Hey, JP, I know you know Rick fairly well. I don't know how you can access, but you have to watch our show today because he has a sweater on that's going to blow your mind.
Christmas time. JP, Christmas sweater.
I used to wear those. I think the first time I ever met him, he was wearing those sweaters.
Yeah.
April and May also.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I was going to say it was in June or July, but it's a beauty, and you want to check it out. JP, you've become a regular on this show, and we sure appreciate it. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thanks, JP.
JP Barry, and there you heard it from JP's mouth. Matt Barzal, definitely a comparable for Elias Pettersson, and Matt, who of course is from Coquitlam, Burnaby Winter Club, $9.125 million a year starting next season.
Great question, Donnie, by you, and you got to give JP props. He said, "Yeah, you better believe since day one they've been comparables." Donnie and Matt Barzal is. I'm going to guess this, Donnie, is probably the starting point for JP Barry on a new deal for Pettersson.
The starting point, so it could be. Of course, it could.
Great question, by the way.